Hello traders, welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 202. Iliya here, tuning in as always. You know what we're going to be doing, having a look at the markets, how it developed this week, what kind of opportunities we had, and most importantly, what we can expect for the upcoming week. Now this week I only traded on Monday and Tuesday and I had an incredible results which I'm gonna share with you. And then from Wednesday up until today I was in the Netherlands for my graduation ceremony. I'm officially graduated with a cum laude honor as well, and finally feeling good about it. Finally some more free time to be making some amazing things. The first one is that I already completed the course revamp and the community are already crushing the markets with the new knowledge. I'm gonna show you some trades they took a little bit later on the Euro USD breakdown. So pretty much we had an incredible week right now. The market is starting to pick up. If you are aware, there have been some changes within the not really the financial system, but a very specific part of it. So right now we're having faster transactions, right? Because the dealing centers are shifting up their speed of exchange, or yeah, I have to read a little bit more about it in order to explain it to you guys. But we see that we have a lot of volume entering into the market after like I believe it was like around the 7th to the 10th of July. So a lot of amazing things are ahead of us. We're having some incredible moves. So we got to get focused and take some amazing trades. Furthermore, funding challenges, no more time. So that is going to be really good for me because I'm really good at generating long-term consistent results, but I couldn't in the past generate like 10% in 20 days. So right now it's time to make some big moves as well. Now, if you're new to this channel, it's all about trading. I share this weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and once per week I share an educational piece of content or a trading setups breakdown video, which I'm going to be doing very soon. So make sure you're subscribed, turn on the notification bell, and without further ado, let's head into the analysis. Now, of course, we're going to get started with the Dixie. Before we do that, let's just quickly go to the economic calendar. Now, on Monday, we have a couple of PMIs, right? For pretty much for the US, pound, and euro. Very important. So Monday could be volatile. Tuesday, ECB bank lending survey. Not really sure about that. Then on Wednesday, we have, so first of all, we have CPI for the Aussie and a couple of Aussie news. So Aussie traders, watch out. And then we have the big boy, Fed interest rate decision, policy statement, and press conference of FOMC. So very huge week is ahead of us, because on Thursday as well, we have the same thing, but on the euro. And we also have GDP for the US and an ECB press conference. And on Friday, for the cherry of the cake, we have also CPI for Germany, CPI right there for the US. No, this is core personal consumption expenditures. But again, we see it's very important because again, right now, the main thing investors and traders track is inflation. So those are pretty much the most important news releases we're going to be expecting. So very huge week ahead of us. So again, make sure to watch out. After Wednesday, the market could get a little bit fast, could get also a little bit ugly before the news releases. So watch out and keep those news in mind. Now, a massively bearish week on the Dixie, finally following through from this supply zone that we have been drawing for quite some time. And of course, here we know that there was a little slight break of structure again. We could have said it's a liquidity gap. We could have said it's a break. Again, you don't know until the next side gets taken, because at that point, I usually consider wicks as breaks. Okay, but I started to observe whether it's like a very weak break, like with a little wick. Okay, that could oftentimes be a liquidity gap. But in this case, we pulled back into the supply that caused the break. We dropped a little bit lower than 3 weeks of consolidation. And it was that week that we just massively offloaded and we created a new weekly lower low. So right now we can officially draw a brand new supply, which I do believe it's this one. We have like 2 bullish weeks, 1 bearish one right there, a very nice accumulation before a very huge drop. So I really do believe there is a lot of volume within this little cluster right there. Now, the question is, where is it going? And we can of course go have a look at the monthly time frame. There was that little imbalance, but that was, yeah, this is currently being filled to precision. Okay, so usually, again, what I've been testing out is that 50% of imbalances are usually the golden spot. You can see here we tapped in, but no 50%. Tapped in, no 50%. And right now we are into it, okay? And if you also have a look at the very big macro range, well, we are way below the 50%. So are we right now pulling back in order to go long later this month? Or are we pulling back all the way down to maybe, let's say, a demand zone all the way down like this? But again, this is way too far ahead in time, so let's not stress too much about it. But again, importantly, right now we're filling in that monthly imbalance. So can we have some sort of a reactions? Probably. And I mean, look at this week. This week was absolutely insane and also absolutely easy. So as I rolled out the new strategy to my community, they just literally killed it this week. And I also killed it on Monday and Tuesday. And I'm very sad that I couldn't trade on the rest of the days. Because look at that, every single day bearish, and yes, Friday gave us a little bit of a retracement. So right now, when it comes to the daily, the market is sitting at a massive lower low, and of course, what we could expect is for the market to pull us back towards like the 50% and fill in like the imbalances above the 50%. We have one right there, and of course, we have one right here, and we have one right here. So we have a lot of them. Okay, so in that case, you just wait for the market to pull back above 50% and then start looking for lower time frame shifts. But again, in order for the daily to start a pullback, the forward time frame has to get bullish as well. And if I have a look at the forward time frame, it is absolutely not nice because this to me is not a lower high. This to me is not a lower high. The lower high to me is right here, which is also above the 50%. So if I make a projection, what I would really love to see, not that it's going to happen, but what I would love to see is for Monday to start bearish to make a new lower low. Because if that makes lower low, then this is going to become a major lower high. And then if we break that lower high, then I can start looking for longs towards that daily pullback. But if the market starts pulling back right now, the hourly time frame to me is always going to be bearish because my major lower high on the Forex is right there at that moment right now. So really depends on how it opens. Right now, again, when the market is massively extended, it's very hard to say what's going to happen. There are no setups right now. So don't just go on Monday and like try to buy and sell because again, the market closed on Friday very choppy and it's very, very extended. So a lot of things could happen. But again, my preferred scenario will be a hourly breakdown to take out the previous weekly low as well. Hourly trend change up. And then I'm going to start looking for longs towards the 50%. If we start pulling up to the upside, I'm still going to be looking for longs, but on the 15 minute. And then of course we could be looking to like, to fill in imbalances like that, which is going to be the first target. Very recent hourly imbalance that was like a huge, and this is also the one that actually caused the break. Okay, and then as we start tapping the 50%, then I'm going to start looking for the 15 minute to align bearish and maybe start taking some shorts. Why? Well, because the trend is massively bearish. Could it go bullish this week with the interest rates and everything? Could be. Depends on the euro, depends on the dollar, on the FOMC, what Powell says as well. So we're going to see. So don't try to make too many predictions. Have your scenarios, and as I always say, flow with the markets and flow with whatever happens. But those are my two scenarios on the Dixie. Euro USD is finally moving as it's supposed to move. Now, if you also check my previous weekly outlook, the analysis played out to perfection with the biases and everything. So we respected that demand zone. And right now we're making a brand new weekly break. And what I can also say, similar to the Dixie, that this is going to be our major weekly higher low formation right now. And again, where is it going? Well, let's see, like on the monthly time frame, yes, we have this massive drop right there. It's definitely above the 50% right now. There is pretty much no imbalances right there, not an imbalance that I see. Okay, so that could mean that we're going to be taking a lot of highs in order to get that liquidity before we make a move down. But it could be that the euro is just about to actually go massively bullish and the Dixie is massively going to go down. So again, let's not try to focus way too much on the higher time frames, but focus on what is happening right now. So a massive weekly break, which creates a weekly and a daily higher high. And once again, the daily time frame, very extended, massive imbalance. So again, there will come a time in which we're going to start correcting. Now, is it going to happen this week? Maybe, because we had a massive expansion, and usually after a massive expansion like this, which we haven't had in a while, right? You can see maybe here we had a nice expansion and then we started chopping. Massive expansion, like pulls back. Massive expansion here. Yeah, pretty much that's the same. So let's see. Again, nothing to say. We're sitting at a higher high. We took out massive liquidity. We made a weekly higher high. Taking liquidity in the left, filling it in balance. So I would expect for the market to start correcting. But again, as I told you, in order for us to start trading that daily correction, which has like a lot of imbalances to fill, it has the 50%. So I'm not even going to draw it. Then the forward time frame has to shift bearish first. And if I just go to analyze what we have right now, well, we don't really have any valid higher lows right now. So again, this right now, it has a valid range high. So if we break this and then if we TC down, then that will be my really desired scenario. Because if the forward shifts down, then that means that the daily time frame is initiating a pullback and I can take shorts all the way. So like, let's say maybe that's going to be the first target. And then of course, is this around the 50%? Well, yeah, we can even push it a little bit lower than that. Okay, so we're gonna have a lot of space to be taking shorts if the 40 time frame goes down. But if it continues to pump up, then of course don't fight the market, because if you keep fighting the market for shorts, which I do believe a lot of retail traders are going to be doing right now, because yeah, the market is extended, it has to go down, and everybody's going to look for shorts, and the market is just going to keep pumping and pumping and pumping. So again, watch your bias, watch your 15-minute, and watch your sentiment. Okay. And yeah, if we just continue to pump up, I'm just going to keep along with the market on the 15-minute and with the intraday bias and liquidity. Okay, so that's pretty much EU. Again, nothing much to say, because it's always tricky when the market is at a high. You don't know what's going to happen. And of course, we got to wait until Tuesday, see what happens. Then, of course, I'm going to be giving you an update. Now, the trades that I took this week, let me just quickly walk you through them. One trade was taken on Monday. If I just remove this line right now. So one trade was taken on Monday, which was perfectly as per our weekly outlook and setups. We expected like a pullback to fill in that imbalance. The market came in and just massively expanded. And pretty much if I was holding that long, it would have been lovely. But again, let's not try to get unrealistic, because again, you can see I would have get stopped out at break even or a stop loss. Now, again, the market broke up. That's the last valid range. The market TC'd down. The Asian session range was trending. We took out Asian low. We filled in the imbalance. We made the TC down. Then we made the TC up. Then we just came in to retest the last valid range. And then, of course, what I just targeted is the Asian high liquidity. And that was, of course, my other liquidity target, which kind of formed equal. So the high here is 33 and the high here is also 33. So you can see equals. Okay, so don't get greedy, because if you try to swing it for the fences, right, get stopped out, and then the market goes. Now that one was very, very easy. If I just go on the 1 minute again, 50-minute came in, grab the liquidity, consolidate a little bit. You gotta know what is valid and you gotta know what is not valid. Like, so for example, if you start taking breaks like this, well, that's not good, because again, it's not valid range. This is something that I only teach in my private program. I'm not gonna share it with publicly, because it's been a result of like 6 months of hardcore backtesting in order to really systematize how do we draw structure. So here is actually the break, right? And I just immediately entered on the, I think I entered on the retest, right? 5 pip stop loss, 3.5 targets. There it is. That's my trade for Monday. And I took 2 trades on this one. So double risk. So I made quite a good return on that trade right there. And then again, as you know, it pulled back. Would have started at break even, and then the market continued to massively push up. Now on Tuesday, again, flowing with the market, we had a massive high. There was some sort of liquidity taken on the left right there. So I was looking for shorts to pull me back below the 50% of this new range right there, and to fill in the hourly imbalance that also formed within that big push. So there's the hourly imbalance that formed within the push, right? And I was just trading the pullback, and then I was looking for longs, but I don't think we got provided something clean. So there is a trade that was taken with our Fanatic model 2. But then it also provided Fanatic model 1 right there, which I did not consider because it was at 12:30 and I did not trade at that time. But again, you can see later the market came in, filled in the imbalance, and it actually provided the long. Damn, I could have jumped into that trade. There is your 50-minute TC. There is the retest. You can take it like set and forget right there, and then you nail up absolutely massive trade. So this week was just easy. It was just nice. So my Fanatic model 2 works on the 5-minute. That is a very nice refined strategy we're utilizing right now. So we had the market manipulating Asian high. It made the 5-minute TC. I first had a trade set up right there, but it did not trigger. Then the market broke down, structure break again, came into retest, stop loss above right there, and then the market pushed. So usually I don't swing with this strategy. So I took 80% off a 3R, because again, I always say if you get a 3R, just take it. Don't swing for the fences, because you can see in this case, the market came back, but I took 80% off right there. I was really satisfied with the trade. And then I read the rest to run towards the imbalance. So the market later came in, and there was my community smashing the hell out of this short right there. And that short was taken on the 1 minute with Fanatic model 1. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. Came in, aligned right there, and you just take the trade from here, and then the market just massively ran down. But pretty much I got my 20% partial hit. Where is it? Yeah, I got 20% partial hit right there at the imbalance, which was a 7.2R. But again, with only 20% left, you can do the maths. It's not a lot. So again, that's my pretty much that's my second and last trade for the week. And I'm very sad that I didn't trade on the next days, because there was my community smashing all of these longs. And then on Thursday, it was just an absolutely bomb day, like starting with this long right there, then going with this long right there, then going with this long right there, and then also going with this long right there. So there was an incredible amount of opportunity on Thursday. So again, make sure you go and watch and see what's happened there. Okay, so an incredible start of July, because I didn't trade on the previous week, and this week I smashed it on the first 2 days. So very happy with that, and hope we can continue with that same momentum into the month. Okay, so that's Euro USD. That's all the trades. Let's go forward. All right, next on the list is Euro Yen. So we're having a strange weekly candle, because again, you saw Euro USD just massively pushed. But if Euro USD is massively pushing, right, and if Euro USD pushes up, then of course DXY is going to be down, and guess what happens with the USD JPY? Well, it's going to have a very hard time, and it's most likely going to go with the DXY bias. So again, you can see, even though Euro USD was massively bullish, this one struggled to push up. Why? Well, because probably USD JPY was incredibly bearish. There it is. Okay, so again, this is why I do not like JPYs, because most of the times they don't move as big, but when they move, they do. So what I think is happening right there is we're pulling back towards that weekly imbalance and towards that weekly 50%, which hasn't been fulfilled yet. Or let's see if it actually did. No, hasn't been fulfilled yet. So is it going to get fulfilled? I don't know. And that pullback could be enough for the market to be making a new high. So again, let's see what the daily and the lower time frames are going to show us. Well, the daily time frame is kind of technically bearish. Like, since we broke right there, we aligned bearish. But can we be looking for something like this right now? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So we also came in to take out this little liquidity right there, which was a very nice swing low right there. The market took it, wicked, and right now it's retracing back. There is no, yeah, there was a little bit of imbalance right there that has been filled. So giving me, so Euro Yen is giving me a hard time to try to kind of build an overall macro bias. So from here, is it going to go up, or is it going to pull back even further? I do believe, again, just based on the weekly, there is imbalance, a lot of imbalance being left. I also immediately see it right there on the daily as well. So if I just say it as imbalance to fill, I also see it right there on the daily. And yes, while this one took it out, the market is pulling back right now. And again, as I said, one of the scenarios will be for us to push from here, but of course the other scenario will be for us to just head higher with the euro strength. Okay, we don't have JPY news. No, we actually have interest rate decision, press conference, and statement on Friday next week for the yen. So that could cause a big move. But again, in terms of the macro bias on Euro Yen, it's a little bit hard. And if I look on the FOH, well, there was a valid break right there. And then there is a TC right there. That's a trend change for those of you that don't know. Then you can see the market from the low to the high came in, boom, 50%, and just massively explodes. And then we have another structure break. Oops, another structure break to the upside. That there's our last demand zone, and there's our last zone. So if I just solely focus on the FOH, I'm gonna say, well, wait for a pullback and then just take a long. Okay, next target is gonna be this guy. So if we're gonna get bullish on the daily, then of course the fall is already bullish. So right now you are in alignment with the bullish daily bias, and right now the fall is aligned as well. There's that imbalance that I would love to be filled. So there is my outlook on Euro Yen. Everything built up. Of course, if that forms the high, then that could also be the first liquidity target. So let's see how it opens. Is it going to open bearish to start filling in a little bit of imbalance and pullback, then look for longs. But if it starts and opens bullish and first takes the buy side liquidity, then maybe you can like look for a shift to the downside, and then maybe it's going to like go all the way down. So again, pay attention, because usually the market open is going to give us a clue, like especially like Monday, Tuesday are going to give us a clue of how the whole weekly candle is going to go. So again, stay tuned for my Tuesday outlook, and of course watch how the market opens on Monday. But there are my two scenarios for Euro Yen. Next on the list are the Aussies, and Aussie dollar is finally making a move. So after this weekly shift right there, we came in, we filled in the weekly imbalance right here. We tapped inside the last demand zone right there, and right now we're probably headed towards taking out the weekly high. So dropping that to the daily time frame where we came very close to it. So I wonder, is it gonna just come in and fill on Monday, or is it going to give us a little bit of a pullback? You can see so for example, right now that is currently forming an imbalance, and there is one big below right here. And if I just take the current daily range, well, yeah, this one makes more sense to get filled. But again, it came in and stopped very close to the high. So a lot of things could happen. We can just open, give a little bit of a pullback maybe one day, and then just boop, take out the high. Okay, or we can like make a bigger pullback and then have a more space to the upside. So that is pretty much my daily outlook. I would expect this weekly high to be taken, but the question is, what is going to happen before it gets taken. Now, on the 40 time frame, is this equals? No. So there was, it's not good, but yeah. Well, you can say, just for the sake of it, we can say that, because really technically, if I just look at it, this is a valid one. So it kind of broke with a little wick right there, and then it massively lined down. So currently we can say that the 40 time frame is bearish. Okay, so a lot of things can happen right now. So if it starts bearish, maybe give a little bit of a pullback, then drop, then TC, and then it dropped. But I don't think that's going to happen because it doesn't have a lot of space. So Aussie dollar also gives me a hard time. And when again something gives you a hard time, you just wait, right? Wait to see what's going to happen. Again, I think that this one is going to be taking out this high. Again, right now, your immediate question is, okay, how do I get into a long towards that high? Well, you gotta wait for the 4-hour time frame to get into some area of interest, which again, it could be those 2 daily imbalances. Okay, I would really prefer for it to drop even further, like below the daily 50%, to come in right there and then give me a 4-hourly alignment, and then we're gonna have a massive trade. But if the market comes in right there, fills in that imbalance, then on the 15-minute and on the daily and on kind of the intraday bias, it starts to go up. I would also be very very curious to be looking for longs from here as well. So there's my Aussie. Overall, long bias, I wouldn't really look to take a short something like this. I really wouldn't do that, because again, that is against the whole momentum and the whole macro bias. So I'm going to be focusing on longs. But again, in order to take a long first, you need to enter from a proper position of price, which is going to be either from here or below the 50%, which is going to be much better. So again, watch out for that. Let's see how the market opens. And yeah, I mean, you could look for a short trade. Like if the market opens right there, then you can look for a short into this zone and then start looking for longs. Of course, there are a lot of ways to play it, but again, let's not stress too much. Wait for the market to open, and then we're gonna see. OZM, oh, haven't deleted my analysis right there. Well, I'm very glad to see that it came into precision. Like, there's my analysis. Let's see, but like, whoa, look at that. I mean, that is just, isn't that textbook, right? Sunday opens, taps, massive drop, fills in the imbalance, and right now it reacts from it. Wow. I just love this. Now let's pretty much use that analysis. I haven't deleted it, so let's just delete all the stuff right there. So that is still our range. So there is the daily range. The market pulled back below the 50%. It didn't again fill, like that's probably a weekly one. Yeah, that's the weekly one. It didn't fill it fully, but I do believe as we tap below the weekly 50% and as we pretty much fill that one almost close to 50%, I could say that this one is ready to potentially start going up. Okay, and yes, and the daily time frame is also, that's the daily low and that's the daily high. So there is no bearishness right there. It's all bullish. So if the 4-hourly time frame is bullish right now, then we gotta go hard. And yes, it is. Like there is the breakdown, the breakup, didn't pull back as much. Yeah, this one break up and then a break up. Oops, break up right there. Demand zone. So no imbalance right there. So two things could happen. We can either just open and just violently explode to the upside, or we can make a 4-hourly bearish TC to pull us back inside that big daily push, right? And then shift from here. So there are my scenarios. That's it. Okay. Why do I think that could happen? Is because again, there has been imbalance formed on the daily time frame, and maybe like judging by this break right there, I do think the market could come in, grab liquidity below this low, because you can see where did the big push start? The big push started from here, right there. So you can see the market broke above, consolidated, and just whoop, massive impulse. So even if you want to take a more valid range, then that's going to be the case. So I'm still going to be looking for longs from here, but if the market breaks below and then if it pulls back towards that imbalance right there, fills it, and maybe even taps inside this POI, that is when I'm going to be looking for the longs. So there is my AJ bias, also longs. So focus on longs. This one actually looks much better than Aussie USD in terms of structure. So let's see how they're going to play out. DNZDs, let's have a look what is happening right there. So the first thing that I spot that is not similar to the Aussie, for example, is that we actually took out the weekly high. So again, if you remember, the weekly time frame was bearish and we were reacting from this little zone right there. But again, it was kind of 50-50. Is it going to go down? Is it not? Because we also knew that the market filled in that imbalance right there, all right, which is kind of within this big monthly push. Okay, and you can see right now it looks like it's gonna follow through, and what I can immediately say is that this could eventually become a really good target as well. Now, the bad thing about what is currently happening is that we're having this massive liquidity gap right there. So you can see there were equal highs right there, there was a high right there, there was a high right there, and right now just everything got taken, and look at the reaction. And there is also like a little bit of imbalance sitting in right there. So what I would expect to happen right now is maybe we initiate a little retracement. So the major high low right now is this on the weekly time frame. If you want to draw a weekly range, you definitely could do that. But let's transfer on the daily. And yeah, the daily is gonna be very impulsive. Yeah, just massively pushed up, came into the imbalance, took out all the liquidity, and rejected on Friday. So what I would expect, first thing I see, imbalance right there. That could be something to be filled. There is one little one right there as well. So let's drop it as well, right? So you could ask me like which imbalance is gonna get respected. I don't know. I don't use imbalances to enter from. I use them for potential areas that the market could drive into, and if they get filled, then I know that there is a high probability of a lower time frame structure shift. And if that lower time frame structure shift happens, it's going to be high probability and it's probably going to go. That's how I pretty much use imbalance. I can make a video on that very soon. Now there are structure breaks and structure breaks right there. So the last kind of 4-hourly valid range is here. So there's the setup. I mean, it also makes a lot of sense on the Forex. Like daily took liquidity, 4 hours at a high. So what I'm going to be looking for is for a pullback, preferably below 50%, 50-minute shift right there, and then go for the longs all the way up. There is my outlook on the NZD. Absolutely makes beautifully bullish. So let's see how it plays out. Hopefully we start bearish to make that weekly low, and then by Monday or Tuesday we have pulled back enough in order for us to start later taking the longs. Oh, but I'm on, sorry, I was on the daily, not on the Forex. So right now we're in the Forex, but the daily analysis also made a lot of sense, because on the Forex, yeah, on the Forex is pretty much the same. Like that's not valid. There is nothing valid apart from this guy. So if you also want to take a 4-hourly range, well, again, according to me, that's gonna be this guy. So it's pretty much the same as the daily. So pretty much, yeah, this stays the same. I would like to see a pullback, preferably right there. 15-minute shift from here, and an intraday setup like one of our Fanatic models are gonna present right there, and then we go long. Now up until then, guess what? On Monday and Tuesday, I could be going short. Again, I don't trade the pair, but that is gonna make a lot of sense to go short into the long zones and then take into the longs. And this is how I really love to flow with the market, especially when it behaves like we forecast. Okay, so that's the NZD looking very good, looking for a pullback short and then an expansion higher. NJ, okay, so this one similar to the other ones, came in beautifully tapped into imbalance, so it could be getting ready for longs. The daily time frame on this one is bearish though. Like, yeah, it made a daily shift down. Okay, it made a daily shift down, but in order for it to shift up on the daily, it has to make a new weekly high. So in that case, it doesn't make a lot of sense to be looking for a daily alignment. So dropping onto the Forex, the market beautifully came in right there. It was very bearish, tapped inside, 4-hourly trend change, just massively impulsed. And we have another break right there, and then there is our last demand zone. So very simply what I'm gonna say is wait for the market to come in right there and then just use your entry models to get in from here. There is it. Very simple, very nice. Let's see if it plays out. For example, on AJ, I did expect a slightly deeper pullback, because if you look at the break on AJ and you compare it with the break on NJ, right, this one looks a little bit stronger. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let's see. Flow with the markets. Also very possible that AJ doesn't break lower and holds from here. We're gonna see that on Monday. So again, let's patiently wait, see what's gonna happen. But there is my outlook right there. I'm expecting bullishness on NJ, but of course anything could happen. Once again, the market can just go down and then chop around down there, and maybe next week the long is gonna come in. So again, flow with the markets. Don't marry any biases. Don't listen to anyone. Just listen to the market, and you're gonna do amazing. Now USD/JPY is probably going to be hard to read, where we're having, like, we had an evening star formation right there, and right now we're having a massive bearish candle. That is kind of, it depends if you look at this as a weekly higher low formation. On the weekly time frame, I mean 2 weeks of pullback, then definitely kind of looking good for a pullback. So is this shifting the weekly to bearish? Is it just a liquidity gap? We don't know yet, because you can start looking at all the details, and like there was an imbalance right there that is about to be filled. Okay, the market is coming in right now from an imbalance that was filled here to the left. Okay, and right now it's retracing to fill in the to the downside. So it's kind of 50-50. Then dropping onto the daily time frame, I mean the daily structure is right now going to be extremely hard to read, because the market just massively pushed it, but then it just whoop, it just massively crushed to the downside. Okay, so there is lots of imbalance within right there. There is lots of momentum. So at this precise point, I just don't know. We can potentially initiate a big pullback and then drop a short. We can like make a very brief pullback, drop a short, and then start looking for the longs. And then our targets will be the imbalances right there. So again, at this precise time, I would just suggest don't make too many outlooks, okay, and break in scenarios and stuff. Okay, so yes, right now on the FOH, we've made the shift up, and that makes this as our major high low formation. There is imbalance right there. So again, is it possible for us to go long? Absolutely, because we also saw that a lot of the JP, well, pretty much all the JPYs, they are aligning bullish. So if this one right now pulls back and goes long, the JPYs are gonna explode with all the setups that I showed you, like on EJ, AJ, and NJ. Okay, so watch carefully for that. Now, are we gonna dig a little bit deeper to that imbalance? Well, sometimes again, just the open, the high or the low point of the imbalance is enough to be filled. You can see sometimes it goes way above the 50%, or sometimes it can just tap the open and reverse. Okay, liquidity has been taken. There were quite a couple of flat lows right there. This is liquidity low, that is liquidity low. They all got taken. So right now what we could expect is for the market to start filling in that big daily range right there. So if that happens, we can have quite some upside to fill in all that imbalance, and then from there we're just gonna see what's gonna happen. Okay, so I'm gonna say I'm more long biased than short biased on UJ. Again, I don't want to go against all of that momentum, but judging by the FOH and this little alignment right there, which is not the strongest, there is a chance we get long. And if this one goes long, all the JPYs are also gonna have a massive long as well. So again, let's see. That's what I see currently on UJ. Let's of course give it some time and see how it develops. Let's have a breakdown of UCAT. So strange weekly candle. I mean, it came in, took out this low right there, and it rejected and pretty much formed a very big wick. It wasn't as bearish as the Dixie, which means that the cat is strong. So let's check out the daily, right? That's the pair that I usually don't like at all. There are some people love it. You either hate or love this one. I personally hate it. I don't know why. But we have this break on the daily right there, so it formed also an imbalance. But this definitely looks like a liquidity grab to me, because UCAT in terms of the macro, like there was this hard low right there, and then all of this right there was liquidity. So this low, this low, this low, this low, everything got taken, right? So I do believe a lot of liquidity is taken for the market to actually start going up. But again, it's not about what I think, but actually what happens. So let's try to break it down on the lower time frame. Daily, bearish, 4-hourly. 4-hourly is, yeah. So the major lower high on the 4-hourly is this guy, because there is breaking structure here. So UCAT, I'm just gonna kind of say nothing, because just looking at this, it very slowly went down and just took the liquidity and just whoop, massive recovery right there. Knowing UCAT, it usually stays like for a very long time in the range and takes out the high and takes out the low, and then it returns back in the range. So I just hate this pair. So honestly, I don't know what to expect on this one. Like if we create a 4-hourly structure break right there, then that is of course gonna tap us into the daily 50% and the daily imbalance, and then from there we can maybe expect shorts. But maybe based on that, if we base this as a liquidity gap and knowing where the market is positioned on the weekly time frame, I'm gonna say that I'm more bullish. But also being bullish on the USD pair doesn't make sense, because the DXY is just dropping like crazy. So I just believe UCAT, I always skip this one. I usually don't get it right. But yeah, so this is what I have right now. Again, it depends. Is it gonna break? Is it then gonna pull back and hold from here to take a long? Is it gonna break, or is it then just gonna flush and take a short? I don't know. So again, guys, give it some time and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I know a lot of you are trading UCAT, so maybe you have some insights on that. Personally, I just wait to get it much cleaner. But I don't like this pair at all, because again, it just ranges, massive impulse down. Then again, it's probably gonna range again and do something stupid. So let's see. All right, let's look at the pound pair, starting with GU. Also massive explosion on that pair, and now our bias also from the last weekly outlook was spot on. Now we have a breakout structure here. We have a brand new demand there, and the weekly candle just massively imposed, which again is going to be a little bit hard to forecast. Again, The weekly push is exactly the same as the daily push. They all start from the same place. There's lots of imbalance. So of course we can start expecting potential pullbacks. But before we do expect the pullback, let's at least have a hourly bearish structure created. So again, you can see here on Monday, we actually closed Friday with a liquidity grab right there. We took out the high, then the market immediately pulled back on Monday. Came into the 50%, filled in the little imbalance, then it just exploded for the rest of the week. So extremely bullish. Now the last, according to me, again, the last hourly higher low is technically this guy right there. So again, it's tricky because what I would prefer to happen, knowing how high we are, I would prefer to have like a break, just a quick liquidity grab up, TC down, and then I'm gonna take the short. I gotta take a lot of shorts because we have a lot of downside potential then to pull us back towards that daily 50% and the daily imbalance. However, this market is already kind of giving us a little bit of a pullback, and what is also possible is that again, like the market pulls back, fills in a little imbalance there and massively pushes up, and then it could potentially start trending up again. Okay, so let's again wait for it. Let's not try to draw too many conclusions and scenarios because again, we just don't know what's gonna happen. Okay. So let's give it a wait, okay? That could be Monday. We might take some shorts. So if you see the market like giving you a short bias on the intraday, you could take some shorts because then again, we are at a massive high and the market could immediately initiate the pullback without making that my desired scenario, which is like to break up and then to start breaking down. That's gonna take a lot of time. So the market could immediately start retracing back, okay? So let's see. I mean, don't drop to the 50-minute yet, because on Friday it was very ugly, so don't drop on it yet, right? Look at that trade right there. So Thursday was amazing. Took out Asian low, TC up, long, break up, long, break up, pullback, break, long, right there. Oh, it kind of came in at 230, just whoop, took out your entry, and then it was just incredible. Like on Thursday, my community just literally killed it. So let's see again, not having any outlooks for now. Stay tuned for Tuesday. This is what I have so far. So again, let's wait and see how the market opens and then we're going to adapt. UJ. Yeah, so UJ, we're having that similar to all the JPY pairs candle. It went down, then it rejected violently to the upside. Daily time frame is bearish right now, but it took a very nice liquidity grab right there. So hourly time frame is probably bullish. Yeah, there is the hourly time frame just aligned. The alignment was caused by this, and there is that little imbalance right there to be filled. So again, just like all the JPY pairs, I could be looking for a fill of imbalance on the voyage right there, and then take a long, and then of course target here and target right there. So that's it. That's the GBPs. Again, GU slightly bit tricky, not seeing it very clearly. I don't know what to expect from it. GJ is cleanly bullish right now, although it has a lot of imbalance to be filling to the downside. So again, don't exclude the possibility of the market just dropping and continuing to fill all that imbalance. But again, that depends on the JPY vibe this week. So monitor very closely if you're trading the JPYs. Watch how UJ opens, watch how everything else opens, and then of course, flow with the markets and stay tuned for Tuesday. Similar to the rest of the pairs, gold is also making the move. It's not as fast and not as strong, but still we are having some bullishness after filling in, after filling in that imbalance right there, okay, to perfection. So we filled it into perfection. Right now the market is starting to react from it. Now, daily time frame has also shifted bullish, which is incredible. So the daily time frame shifted bullish exactly right there, and it did it on Tuesday with a little wick, and then we followed through. So right now we have a brand new daily range, which is this. And like we can take this as a daily demand zone, and we also have we'll have a little bit of imbalance right there to be filled, and of course one right there. Now, knowing that we're at a high, we can expect the market to give us like a little bit of a pullback, which could definitely happen. On the FOH we have, on the FOH is tricky. It's not valid. Yeah, we have to really look carefully. Well, there was a little wick up, and then there is a trend change down, and wow. So on end of Thursday to Friday, the market got really tricky, but there is a shift of structure to the downside on the FOH, okay? So similar to all the pairs, again, they are sitting at a high. or lower low, of course, respectively. And it's very hard to say what's gonna happen next. Like the market could just pump up, take some liquidity, and then maybe it goes down. The market can, of course, continue going lower, filling in the imbalance, and then give us a long trade, which is my preferred outcome for now. But just looking at how it develops right now, there's probably not gonna be a trade on Monday, because you can see the 50-minute right now is incredibly choppy. Okay, so again, give it some time and let's see what's gonna happen. If it goes on and breaks this low right there, then that means that potentially the market is committed to the downside. So then, of course, you can wait for a pullback and you can take a short into that 50% on the daily, because the daily made a very nice expansion right there. What I don't like is that it hasn't taken any liquidity to the left. Like the first liquidity area that I see is this one. So we haven't taken anything in order to initiate a pullback. So once again, what is also possible is the market just kind of opens, it pops up, takes that high right there, takes that high right there, and then it initiates the pullback. Okay, so be open-minded, be open to all scenarios. Then again, don't get married to your bias. Don't say, yeah, this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen. No, you don't know what's gonna happen. So let the market show you. Okay, so that's gold for me. I am definitely bullish on the macro, but first I would expect like a pullback to occur. Now, usually a pullback occurs when something gets taken, and like in this case, what I see on the daily is this high right there. But let's not forget that we also have a structure break right there. So a pullback could be incoming, that maybe there is on the foliage. Yeah, we took something on the foliage right there. So let's see. Those are my two scenarios. Either start bullish, take out the high, and then maybe it's going to initiate like the bigger pullback, or start bearish, give us the pullback, and then take a long. So that's good. Let me know, guys, what you think in the comments. All right, let's have a look at the indices. Now, starting with US30, you can see it's been around 4 weeks of chop. And this week we also had a bullish candle that kind of came in and took out that high, which is not really a major high, because that's our major low and that's our major high. And we have been in this range for quite a while. Okay, but again, we are bullish on the weekly. Now, what this one did, no, wait a second. So yeah, depending on how you look at structure, I mean, if I look at with my hourly rules, then that is the daily break. The market pulled back below 50%. It tries to push, it fails. So if this low fails to cause a high, it becomes liquidity. The market comes in, collects the liquidity, and then eventually it came in and made that daily break. So that is a daily break. And right now we have a brand new daily range. So there it is. There is also a beautiful imbalance right there within that daily range. So again, what I could expect is the market come in, fill in the daily imbalance, and then head for the highs. Now, how does the forward time frame look like? US30 has been tricky to trade. Like, I mean, I had a little period in which I started trading it and it was looking really good. But then there was a current period. It just doesn't provide me with anything. So that's the last forward structure break. Then it pushed, the market pulls back, then it tries to push. Right now it failed to break. I mean, that is still kind of our higher low formation. Yeah. So again, hard to say. If we break above first, so if you first break above, then you have to adapt to your new higher low, because then we can break it and then we can initiate a daily pullback. So like all in all, I would expect that daily pullback to happen because we took out that massive daily high right there. So top, we took out that massive daily high right here, and you can see the market is already kind of rejecting, but maybe we pull back below the 50%, fill in the imbalance, and then we start moving higher. So again, keep in mind, we can be pulling back short. So if the market goes long, watch out, we could be pulling back. And of course, keep in mind, we have on Wednesday the interest rate, FOMC, and everything, so that could consolidate up until then. So again, that's my outlook on US30. Nasdaq is just rolling nicely rolling. New weekly break, new weekly kind of range, higher low right there. Daily time frame at a higher high. So again, what you can expect, well, usually you draw your range. We have imbalance below the 50%. So again, we immediately say pull back and then go up. Forward time frame. The forward time frame is looking good. Why? Well, because it broke structure up and right now it's breaking structure down. So you can see right now this is actually Nasdaq is looking much better than US30 because it's at a higher high on the daily, and right now the forward time frame has shifted down. So if we have like a pullback right there, then of course you can write it all the way down to the imbalance, and then from there look for forward shift bullish, and then you go with the flow. So there is my Nasdaq analysis right now. Again, don't marry it. The market could open, it could pump up, because again everybody will be looking for shorts right now. So that is why you always need entry models in order to show you if the market is committed and if the market actually has the strength to hold from your zones. Okay, so look, that outlook looks very good. I'm really curious to see if it's gonna play out. So again, let's see. S&P Haven't traded S&P this week. I was looking for it, but it didn't really provide any textbook setups. We broke structure up on the FOIH, and we're going to be breaking structure down on the FOIH, which looks very good because on the weekly time frame we're very high once again. Yeah, breaking the high, not really high lows right there that I see, not very clean. That's the closest liquidity high that I also see. So nothing has been taken yet. Dropping onto the daily, well, pretty much it created a massive daily high right now. So again, range low, range high. We have imbalance here, and we also have a little bit of imbalance right there. So again, which one is going to get filled? I don't know. If the first one gets filled, I'm going to start prepping for the longs. Okay. So then, of course, transferring this on the FOIH, you can see that the 40 time frame has shifted down right now. So on like Monday, Tuesday, if we get like a pullback, then of course we can start heading lower, preferably below the 50%. Okay. And then from there, we can start looking for the longs. So that is my outlook. And again, be careful because we have a very huge week ahead of us in terms of indices and in terms of the dollar. And yeah, pretty much follow your news. Okay. Bitcoin hasn't made any move yet. I only monitor this one on the daily time frame. It's just chopping around right now. It kind of breaks up, like takes out the high, then it retraces back, but I still keep, let's say, that weekly range. Okay, that weekly range, looking for that imbalance again. Come back 27k and push. The last one was like 25k and push, so let's see how that works. Ethereum, I'm not monitoring it overall. Well, that's how I want to wrap it up. So hopefully you loved the analysis today. Let me know, guys, in the comments, what is your favorite pair coming in? How did you perform this week? Did you kill it? I really hope you killed it because it was a very clear week. Stay tuned for my Tuesday outlook, flow with the markets. And yeah, a lot of great things are ahead of us. Amazing markets are starting to pop up. So let's focus, let's follow the plan. And I wish you an incredible weekend, an incredible Sunday, and wishing you a killing week ahead of you.